Okay, so good day everyone. No? This time our topic is about e-government development and sustainable development. No? E-government means using computers, the internet, and mobile technology to deliver government services to the people. Instead of waiting in long lines at government offices, you can now access many services online, like getting a birth certificate, paying taxes, or renewing a license. In our country, no website like www.gov.ph and apps such as DigiLocker and eGov.ph Super App are example of how our government offices are becoming more digital. E-government makes life easier, no, by saving time and reducing corruptions. For instance, if you pay for your NBI clearance online through the NBI clearance website, you avoid fixers rather, no, and long queues. No? During the pandemic, platforms like VaxCert.ph help people get their vaccination record quickly and safely because e-government also improved transparency. People can now track public spending through government website. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter this afternoon. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Angelica Gonzalez together with Miss Caroline Condonero. Today, we are going to discuss e-government development and sustainable development. For our report overview, next slide, please. Okay, we have the following topics. First, we have to learn, we have learning intended outcomes, introduction. Next is sustainable development and the adjusted net savings. Fourth is the factors influencing sustainable development. Fifth is role of e-governance in achieving sustainable development goals. Sixth is green IT and eco-friendly practices in e-governance. And lastly is case studies of e-governance initiatives contributing to sustainable development in the Philippines. So meanwhile, next slide please. For learning intended outcomes, this discussion will allow us to first understand the key concept and objectives of sustainable development. Second, explore how digital governance supports sustainability by promoting environmental care, social equity, and economic well-being. The third one is to examine how information and communication technologies can help solve issues like climate change, poverty, and inequality. Next is to learn how e-government contributes to environmental efforts such as managing e-waste, enhancing energy efficiency, and implementing eco-friendly policies. Next is to assess how e-governance can close the digital divide or division in ensuring all groups benefit equally from sustainable development strategies. And the next one is to discover how digital tools improve access to healthcare, education, and welfare services for marginalized populations. And the next one is to understand how e-government aids urban sustainability through smart city planning and resilient infrastructure
Students.
development. And the eighth one is to analyze the role of digital governance in boosting. Next slide, please. Thank you. Analyze the role of digital governance in boosting innovation, entrepreneurship, and long-term economic growth. The ninth is explore the use of big data and analytics in crafting evidence-based, effective, sustainable policies. Next is to recognize the value of involving citizens, businesses, NGOs, and global organizations in e-governance for sustainable outcomes. And the last one is to develop strategies, monitor, and evaluate how digital governance initiatives contribute to sustainable development goals. So next slide, please. Next, please. For our introduction, significant economic growth has led to social environment challenges threatening to current and future generations. Policies are increasingly shifting focus from solely economic growth to balancing economic, social, and environmental consideration. Next is sustainable development aims to meet current needs while ensuring the future generations can also meet their and own needs. Integration of environmental considerations like the exhaustion or depletion of natural resources into economic metrics like the adjusted net savings or ANS, which is developed by World Bank, is a recognized measure that factors in environmental harm, and changes in national assets to assess sustainability. So in the past century or past years, merong mabilis na or rapid economic growth na nagli-lead din sa challenges in social and environmental factors na nag-resulting to magbabago din ng mga policy na which is focuses on paano mababalance yung economic growth and then yung pagbabago sa social and environmental goals. So yung SDG or yung Sustainable Development Goals which is introduced by United Nations, mas ina-emphasize dito na kailangan ma-meet din yung kailangan natin in the current state na without compromising future generations. So they are integrating environmental concerns into economic measurements like yung natural capital depletions. Next slide, please. So these are the sustainable development goals. Actually, for sure, familiar tayo dito sa 17 SDG goals. But for this report, we are going to focus on uh, economic growth and environmental factors. So next slide, please.
Si Mama
So,
Mary, just na ano mo na.
Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs.
Kailangan yung sa taas.
Sustainable Development Goals were established by United Nations in 2015 as a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all by 2030. So SDG aims to balance economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. So SDG is a comprehensive framework. Yun nga, sabi ko, para it is designed to foster a better and more sustainable future for all by 2030. So these goals serve as the guiding blueprint aiming to integrate economic growth, promote social inclusion, and safeguard environmental health, which also creates balanced approach to the development. So by working together towards these objectives, we can build a more equitable and sustainable world for everyone. Next slide. Sorry, pabalik pa. Thank you. So, sa yung SDG, may focus siya on economic growth and environmental factors. The first one is the goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. This focuses directly on promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. So, economic growth under the SDG, ito yung kailangan mag-create ng jobs without causing environmental harm or ma-reduce yung inequality sa bawat isa, and of course to support innovation, industrialization, and infrastructure development. So growth must be also inclusive, which should benefit all layers of society. Katulad nung dapat included ang mga marginalized community or yung populations, and sustainable, which is not to exploit resources unsustainably. And the next goal is goal number 13, climate action. Ito to combat climate change and global warming na aware naman tayong lahat na patagal ng patagal, mas lumalala yung climate change and yung global warming, which nararamdaman din natin ngayon. So, next goal is goal 14, which life below water. This is to protect oceans and marine resources. And the last goal is life on land. This is to sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and to help biodiversity. So these environmental goals or economic growth goals recognize that economic activities must not deplete natural resources beyond renewal rates, populations, resource extraction, and habitat destructions. So, hence, sustainable development integrates environmental considerations into economic growth, requiring the inclusion of natural resources depletion in national accounts. And the UN World Commission on Environment and Development in 1987 defines it as fulfilling current needs without jeopardizing the ability of future generations to meet their needs. This approach has resulted in the creation of various indicators. Next slide, please. So, para ma-meet natin yung needs in the current state and also to future generations, merong kinreate yung mga institutions katulad ng World Bank or UN ng metrics or indicators para ma-assess yung sustainable development. The first one is the adjusted net savings or ANS. It is a measure of sustainable economic growth that accounts for natural resource depletion, environmental damage, and human capital investments, offering a comprehensive view of a nation's overall progress. So, etong ANS or adjusted net savings, may component siya. The first one is the traditional net savings, the basic savings rate of an economy representing the difference between total savings and consumption. The next one is the depletion of natural capital, means losing resources like minerals, forests, and water. This loss decreases our savings and future wealth because we overuse these resources. Pollution also has a negative impact on the environment, which also reduce national wealth and lower our net savings. The third one is investment in human capital. Human capital like in education and health. So investment on education and health enhances workforce productivity and positively influence the ANS, contributing to long-term growth. So investing in education and health, it improves workforce productivity, and kapag tayo or yung community makakakuha ng good and quality education, syempre mas marami tayong natututunan na important skills na makakatulong sa atin in the future to work better. Meanwhile, for good health, it also allows workers to show up more often and stay focused, which also boosts productivity. So these investments, nakakatulong siya um, to increase the adjusted net savings and support long-term economic growth. So by focusing on education and health, communities can create a stronger and more capable workforce, leading to better economic progress or development. The next component of ANS is economic investment. It is based on the idea that savings are equivalent to investment, which plays a crucial role in long-term growth. When savings are positive, after accounting for costs, it indicates that the economy is capable of sustainable development. So, economic investment is grounded or from the idea that yung savings ay equal or equivalent to investment na that has crucial role in long-term growth. So, kapag yung savings is positive, it indicates that the economy is capable for sustainable development. Positive savings means individuals and businesses are setting aside funds for future use. These funds can be invested in areas such as infrastructure and innovation. Na, of course, it can result to create more jobs and promote economic stability. Next slide, please. Now we are going to determine the role of government and institutions in sustainable development. So government and institutions play a critical role in facilitating sustainable development. Effective institutions are responsible for, first, to manage natural resources wisely. Second is to capture resources rents or profits from natural resources. And the third one is allocating rents towards productive investment that foster long-term sustainability. So effective institutions and government are tasked with careful management of natural resources, na sila rin yung nag-i-ensure na yung etong natural resources is utilized responsibly and equitably allocated for the benefit of current and future generations as well. So these institutions are also responsible for capturing the economic value or profits derived from these resources known as resource rents. Ito yung using natural resources, makakakuha yung institutions o yung government natin ng profit if tama yung pag-utilize sa natural resources. So kapag yung profits na nakuha or profits are secured um from utilizing the natural resources, it is crucial that they are also allocated toward productive investment na hindi lang i-address yung immediate need but also for it will stimulate long-term sustainability. So this approach fosters resilience in communities, promotes environmental stewardship, and drives innovation that will lead to a more sustainable and prosperous future for all. So para mas ma-attain or ma-achieve natin yung sustainable development, a country or community must have a effective institutions or government. So, nasa community din nakasalalay kung paano magkakaroon ng effective government and institutions. So, on May 12, please vote wisely for future leaders in our government. So, next slide. Sorry. For, pabalik po, thank you. So, kapag meron naman yung isang country, kapag may mas maraming natural resources, hindi ibig sabihin nun is mas ma-achieve nila agad or ma-attain nila yung sustainable development. Kasi meron ding tinatawag na resource curse, which refers to the problem where countries with lots natural resources do not develop well. So this is due to weak leadership and poor institutions. So on the other hand, when countries have a strong, clear, and responsible institutions, they can manage resources better and promote sustainable development. Ito yung sinasabi na kapag yung leadership is, if we have strong leadership and yung mga taong nakaupo sa government and institution is may alam sa ginagawa nila, mas mabilis or mas ma-attain natin yung sustainable development na sinasabi. Next slide, please. Now we are going to also define the role of ICTs and e-government system in sustainable development. So the digital revolution has brought about transformative changes in how information, communication, and technologies are utilized by governments globally. It impacts all levels of development. These technologies provide essential tools that can lead to significant improvement in various areas of governance and public service delivery. So information and communication technology or ICT facilitates the first is implementing cohesive public policies. So by utilizing data and communication technologies, government can create cohesive that are well coordinated across different sectors. This integration helps to address complex societal issues more effectively. Second is enhancing the efficiency of public service delivery. So, yung ICT, it streamlines public service delivery, mas napapabilis and more user-friendly. So, yung citizen can have an access services online. So, mas streamline niya yung waiting times and yung bureaucratic hurdles. Meanwhile, for e-government system, they facilitates the first is to transparency through publicly accessible information. So e-government initiatives often include the provision of public information online. It allows individuals to stay informed about government activities, budgeting, and decision-making processes. This openness reduces the potential for corruption and increase public trust. Next is participation by encouraging citizen involvement. So by using digital platforms, e-government system encourage civic engagement by providing citizens with opportunities to participate in discussion, provide feedback, and contribute to decision-making process. This involvement cultivates a more democratic environment. And the third one is accountability by strengthening oversight of activities within the public sector. So by using digital platforms, e-government systems can by using digital platforms, e-government system can also oversight yung mga activities na ginagawa within the governments and government agencies and other public sectors. And the fourth one is to better allocation of resources via efficient service delivery. Efficient service delivery through ICTs enables governments to utilize resources more effectively, ensuring that they are allocated in alignment with public needs and priorities. And the last one is sustainable manage of natural resources through informed decision making. So e-government support informed decision making regarding the management of natural resources by providing access to crucial data and analytics. So governments can promote sustainability practices and policies. Next slide, please. So now we are going to proceed to sustainable development and adjusted net savings. Next slide, please. So sustainable development and adjusted net savings are crucial for evaluating long-term advancement in economic, social, and environmental aspects. So traditional GDP growth does not adequately reflect the intricate nature of well-being and sustainability. So yun yung sinasabi kanina na yung sustainable development um goals or yung 17 na SDGs and then yung adjusted net savings, importante siya para mas ma-evaluate kung meron bang progress in terms of economy, social, and environmental aspects. Since yung traditional na GDP, hindi nakikater po or hindi nagagamit para mas ma-evaluate yung long-term advancement sa tatlong aspect or facet na which is economy, social, environment. Merong na develop na multiple metrics or indicators. The first one is weak sustainability. It promotes the idea that the different forms of capital, such as natural resources, human skills, and physical assets, can be exchanged or substituted to maintain overall well-being and quality of life. This flexible approach suggests that as long as the total amount of capital remains stable or grows, the well-being of society can be sustained. The next one is strong sustainability. So it places a critical emphasis on the preservation of vital natural capital, which includes irreplaceable ecosystems and resources that have no substitute. So this perspective insists on safeguarding these essential elements to ensure that future generations can enjoy the same level of well-being and ecological health that we do today. So by prioritizing the protection of our planet's resources, strong sustainability aims to create a more resilient and equitable future for all. The next one is the Human Development Index or HDI. It is a composite measure that captures essential economic and social dimension of human life, providing insight into aspects such as income, education, and life expectancy. However, it overlooks the critical issues of environmental degradation, leaving out vital factors that affect the quality of life in rapidly changing world. Next is environment. Next slide, please. Sorry. Pabalik pa, thank you. Environmental Performance Index is focused metric that assess a country's performance in managing its environmental health, addressing key issues like air and water quality, biodiversity, and climate change. So, while it offers valuable insight into environmental sustainability, it also does in isolation without considering how economic and social factors intertwine with environmental outcomes. And the last one is Sustainable Society Index. It aims to provide a comprehensive overview of sustainability by encompassing a wide range of dimensions, including economic, social, and environmental aspects. So it how, however, this faces significant challenges. The negative correlation often observed between human well-being and environmental sustainability. So, as a result, the index refrains from merging these diverse elements into a singular comprehensive measure, highlighting the complex interplay between promoting the human prosperity and maintaining ecological balance. Next slide, please. The next topic is the factors influencing sustainable development. Next slide. The factors are first is institutional quality. This includes good governance, rule of law, and democracy. So it is essential for sustainable development since they are the one that ensures na merong fair resource distribution and policy implementations na align to economic growth and environmental aspects. The next one is e-government development. Dito yung naka-include yung digitalization and technological advancement kung saan nag-shift na yung pag-provide ng services ng public sectors online para mas mapabilis yung pag-deliver ng services and technological advancement instead of using traditional services like yung printing ngayon mas mabilis na since available na online yung mga forms na kailangan if ever na may application na gagawin in certain government agencies. Next is economic factors. Isa rin tong nakakapag-influence sa sustainable development. The first one, economic growth. So, higher economic growth can increase national wealth and support investment in sustainability. So, but it must be managed to avoid environmental degradation. The next one is per capita income. So, higher income per person generally enables better education, healthcare, and environmental conservation, promoting sustainable outcomes. Third is financial development. A well-developed financial sector facilitates investment in green technologies, infrastructures, and social programs essential for sustainable development. The fourth one is natural resource abundance. Ayun nga, kapag yung isang country is meron namang rich in natural resources, nagkakaroon din sila ng challenges. Yun yung nabanggit ko kanina, which is the resource curse. Yun yung kapag hindi maayos yung leadership or may weak government and institutions na hindi sustainable yung paggamit ng natural resources. And the last is inflation. High inflation erodes purchasing power and savings, make it harder to fund long-term sustainable development goals. Next slide, please. The next factor is social factors. Nandito yung age dependency, which a higher ratio of dependents, young and elderly, can strain economic resources and reduce the ability to invest in sustainable initiatives. Second is urbanization. So urban growth can foster innovation and economic development, but it also must be managed to avoid environmental harm and social inequality. And the third one is the social inclusion. Dapat nandito rin yung ini-include yung pagkakaiba-iba ng mga community like may Muslim communities, LGBTQ plus communities. So dapat they are also included. And the next factors is environmental factors na included is climate change, global warming, and management and conservation of natural resources. The next factor is political factors. Nandito na yung leadership, government policies, regulations, and the regulations of trends, as well as the tax policy. So the last one is the global influences. Nakaka-apekto din sa development or sustainable development yung currency exchange rates, trade agreements, and global crisis katulad ng COVID-19 pandemic. And that's a wrap for my report today. I hope we all learned something from my report. Please, Miss Caroline, take over. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Dean and classmates. To continue, I will be reporting on role of e-governance in achieving sustainable development goals, the green IT and eco-friendly practices in e-governance, and case studies of e-governance initiatives contributing to sustainable development in the Philippines. E-governance and sustainable development. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Role of e-governance in achieving sustainable development goals. E-governance plays a crucial role in achieving the sustainable development goals by leveraging technology and digital solutions to enhance public service delivery, transparency, and citizen participation. These digital efforts align with the core principles of good governance, inclusivity, and sustainability. Next slide, please. Key contributions. Number one, enhancing service delivery. E-governance improves access to essential services such as healthcare, education, and social welfare, especially in geographically isolated areas. Number two, promoting transparency and accountability. Digital platforms support transparent decision making, reducing corruption, and improving trust in public institutions. Number three, strengthening citizen participation. It enables citizens to voice their concerns, thereby increasing democratic engagement and collective ownership of development goals. Number four, supporting data-driven decision-making. Collection and analysis of data empower evidence-based policies and better resource allocation. Number five, improving public finance management. E-governance ensures efficient tax collection and budget tracking. Six, advancing digital inclusion. It fosters ICT access and literacy across marginalized sectors. Next slide, please. Number seven, monitoring and reporting progress. Systems track sustainable development goals progress, identifying gaps and adapting strategies. Number eight, supporting environmental sustainability. Through digital tools, governments can promote green practices and reduce consumption. Number nine, facilitating cross-sector collaboration. It bridges cooperation between government, civil society, and private stakeholders. 10, enabling digital entrepreneurship. Empower startups and micro, small, and medium enterprises in tech-related sectors like health tech and agri-tech. Number 11, strengthening disaster preparedness and response through real-time data and early warning systems. And number 12, supporting inclusive education. Increases access to learning resources through online platforms and digital content. Through the utilization of electronic governance, nation can expedite advancements towards the sustainable development goals, thereby guaranteeing a future that is both sustainable and inclusive for all individuals. The maximization of the impact of governance in meeting the sustainable development goals necessitates the imperative collaboration among governments, stakeholders, and international partners. Next slide, please. Green IT and eco-friendly practices in e-governance. Green IT in e-governance promotes the responsible use of technology to minimize environmental impact. The sustainable practices, number one, energy efficiency, use of energy-saving hardware and smart power management. Two, virtualization and cloud computing. It reduces energy use and carbon footprint. Number three, green data centers, utilization of renewable energy and recycling systems. Four, e-waste management, recycling and proper disposal of electronics. Number five, paperless office, implementation of digital signatures, document digitization and workflows. Six, digital service delivery. It minimizes travel and lowers carbon emissions. Seven, telecommuting and remote work. It reduces fuel use and office energy. Next slide, please. Number eight, the green procurement, prioritizing eco-friendly IT equipment. Number nine, sustainable software development. It promotes energy-efficient applications. Number 10, e-wallets and cashless transactions. It reduces dependency on paper currency. 11, the digital awareness campaigns. It educates the public on eco-friendly IT practices. Number 12, green certifications. Ensures eco-compliance of government IT infrastructure. And the last one, the environmental impact assessments to preempt and manage ecological risk. Through the implementation of environmentally conscious practices, e-governance has the potential to make significant contributions to the preservation of the environment, while simultaneously enhancing the efficiency of a service and fostering active participation from citizens. Moreover, governments have the potential to serve as a role model for other industries by showcasing the significance of employing technology in a responsible manner to attain wider environmental objectives. Next slide, please. Case studies of e-governance initiatives contributing to sustainable development in the Philippines. These examples reflect how local agencies are integrating e-governance with sustainability. Number one is the EBPLS, or the Electronic Business Permits and Licensing System. This digitized platform streamlines business permit applications, reducing paper use and bureaucratic processes. Example, LGUs such as Iloilo City and Pavia Iloilo have adopted EBPLS to support local economic development and environmental impact reduction. Number two is the online real property tax payment systems. Example is the Valenzuela City and Mandawi City implemented digital payment systems, reducing the need for physical transactions and promoting energy efficient operation. Next slide, please. PhilHealth online registration and services. Digitization enhances access to health services, enabling more inclusive public health. PhilHealth's online portal allows for premium payments and membership updates without in-person visits. Number four is the open data portal of the Philippine government. It promotes transparency and evidence-based policymaking by publicly sharing data sets. And the last one is the iGov Phil Project, a national program aimed at enhancing public service efficiency, transparency, and digitalization through ICT. Example of this is the Government Cloud, or the GovCloud initiative enables shared hosting services across government agencies. It is imperative to acknowledge that sustainable development is a continuous endeavor, and numerous and governance efforts in the Philippines persistently undergo transformation and adjustment in order to effectively tackle prevailing difficulties and goals. For assessing up-to-date and detailed case studies, it is advisable to use official government sources, papers published by relevant agency, or scholarly publications that specifically address sustainable e-governance project in the Philippines. Next slide, please. For our module assessment, through the discussions in this module, it becomes evident that e-governance is not merely a tool for modernization, but a powerful driver of sustainable development. The strategic application of green IT practices reinforces environmental sustainability in public operations. Next slide, please. And Philippine case studies illustrate how localized innovations can significantly contribute to the broader Sustainable Development Goal agenda, and continued push for collaborative efforts among all sectors is crucial in sustaining these developments. Thank you, po.
Okay, thank you so much. No? Again, sustainable development means building a better future, no, without harming the environment to or future generations. It's about meeting today's needs, no, and while also protecting natural resources like forests, clean air, and water. Let's say, for example, no, building flood-resistant school and using solar energy in barangays are forms of sustainable development in our country. E-government supports sustainable development by using digital tools to reduce waste and energy. Let's say, for example, instead of printing hundreds of pages for government documents, agencies now store data digitally, saving paper and trace. No online registration for scholarship like CHED Unifast also help reduce the use of transportation and paper, making services eco-friendly and efficient. One great example of Project NOAA, no, or Nationwide Operational Assessment of Hazards, which provide real-time weather and disaster alerts from mobile apps. This support sustainable communities by preparing people for typhoons and floods. Now, another is the electronic bidding system of the Philippine Government Procurement Service, which promotes fair bidding and reduce corruptions in projects that impact sustainable development such as road and school construction. So why it matters for the future? When the government becomes more digital and environment friendly, it leads to a better quality of life for all. The student can access learning modules online, farmers get weather update through SMS, and job seekers apply for work without spending on fare, no? E-government and sustainable development, when combined, help the Philippines become smarter, cleaner, and more prepared for the future. Okay, so I think that's it for this topic. Thank you so much, Presenter.